elections in Pennsylvania get underway Tuesday, and as the clock ticks down, the GOP Senate primary remains tight between a trio of contenders. Real Clear Politics, using an average of 4 major polls in the Keystone State, has Dr. Mehmet Oz leading with 26% of the vote. Kathy Barnette is now in second place with 23.4% of the vote, and David McCormick in third with 19.6%. CBS News Chief Election and Campaign Correspondent Robert Costa joins me now from Scranton, Pennsylvania. Robert, good to see you as always. You are outside of a Barnette campaign event. How has she gone from a relative unknown to running ahead of McCormick in some polls?
Nicole, great to be with you. Usually when I'm coming to Scranton, Pennsylvania, it's to come to President Biden's hometown. But this is now the center of the Republican world, at least in Pennsylvania, because the question is, can Kathy Barnette actually pull this off? She is the conservative insurgent in this Senate race, and her rise is in part due to her message on social issues like abortion, but it's also because of the perceived weakness of the other two main candidates, Dr. Mehmet Oz and David McCormick, a retired financial executive. So many Trump voters we've encountered here in recent days have their own concerns about Dr. Oz and Mr. McCormick, wondering if they really represent the Trump coalition. And as those concerns have grown in the past few weeks, Kathy Barnette has stepped forward and said, I'm here to be the grassroots favorite. And she is certainly in contention on this eve of the election.
Well, that being said, she's also facing some increasing scrutiny on a number of issues, including what she was doing during the January 6th insurrection. What more do you know about this?
So some photos of Kathy Barnette walking in Washington, D.C. were circulating on social media. They were then verified by NBC News. CBS News has then confirmed with the campaign that it's likely Barnette in the photos. They're not going to contest that Barnette was walking around Washington, D.C. on January 6th. The photos show some Proud Boys around Barnette in Washington on January 6th. The campaign said in a statement that she has no connection, no link to the Proud Boys, but we do hope to ask Kathy Barnette later tonight, when she appears here in Scranton, Pennsylvania, a little bit more about those photos. She said in an interview with SiriusXM earlier today that she came to Washington that day because she wanted to see if there was, quote, a plan afoot. What did she mean? What kind of plan was she looking for on January 6, 2021? What was the timeline of her activity on that day? For a candidate for public office seeking a seat in the United States Senate, those are pertinent, relevant questions, and we hope to hear more in the coming hours, but it's clear that she was there in Washington that day.
As for Dr. Oz, how have you seen former President Trump's endorsement of him play out?
We spoke to Dr. Oz over the weekend at a firehouse in suburban Philadelphia. He feels pretty good about his race, that he has, of course, a lot of name ID from his time on television, his associations with major celebrities over the years, including the former president, Donald Trump. But the Trump endorsement so far has carried Oz into the lead of most recent polls, but it hasn't guaranteed a victory in any way. Trump has been telling voters in Pennsylvania to stick with Oz, even if they have their suspicions about his conservatism. Trump has been holding tele-town halls, tele-rallies, trying to get the momentum up for Oz. And Oz may benefit from this being a crowded field. He may not need an enormous group of voters to win this nomination.
And over on the Democratic side, there's been some late-breaking developments in the Pennsylvania Senate primary, where Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman suffered a stroke Friday. He posted video of himself from his hospital bed on Sunday. Let's take a look. Fetterman is still leading by over 30 points in some polls, but could his health issues have any impact on his campaign?
Based on my reporting and talking to Democrats in Pennsylvania, no way. Fetterman is the front runner. He's the current lieutenant governor. He has appeal to progressives in Pennsylvania. He has been seen as someone who's been a progressive activist going back to his mayoral days in Pennsylvania. At the same time, Congressman Conor Lamb, who was widely seen early on as his main competitor, has faded. Lamb is seen as perhaps too moderate for the Democratic base in Pennsylvania. So Fetterman, we wish him well in his recovery, like we would wish anyone well suffering from a health issue or a stroke. But at this point, he very much looks like the nominee, though he will not appear at his election event on Tuesday night. He will still be recovering from that health episode.
All right, Robert Costa, thanks so much.
Thank you.